Do you include stock-based compensation in discounted cash flows? This is a really good question from Karen, and I think it's our last question. It really depends. I think that using Black-Scholes to calculate the value of options is really difficult. If it's restricted stock, it's a lot easier. But even then, it implies that the current value of the stock is fair. So if a company is really overvalued, let's say, and they use stock-based compensation, I'm not sure that cost is correct. So you have to look at it with and without stock-based compensation, I think. So it really is company specific, but it's very complex. And it's one of the hardest things, I'd say, in my method of forecasting, is really understanding what's happening in stock-based comp in some of these companies is very difficult. And just using the GAAP accounting is really misleading and very difficult to sort of ascertain whether or not the company's truly framing its costs correctly. And that, again, it's no fault of the company. It's simply GAAP accounting. But you have to sort of make your own decision on that. And for some tech companies especially, it's really obscure and difficult. For large companies, SBC is usually such a small percentage of costs that it's really irrelevant. But also depends on that company's compensation philosophy. So it's really tricky to sort of understand it completely. And I'm glad you asked. All right, we're almost done here. What am I reading? I haven't been reading a lot because I have, as I mentioned, a prior engagement. But I've been reading this book while I have been busy with that engagement. It's called Medicinal Chemistry, the Modern Drug Discovery Process. Amazingly, about half the book has no chemistry in it, which is a little frustrating. It's more of a drug discovery book. It inspired me. It's a relatively good book, so it kind of inspired me to maybe think about creating a multidisciplinary course called Drug Discovery that encompasses medicinal chemistry, pharmacokinetics, and sort of research methods in drug discovery. And I'm thinking about that. If there's interest in that, I can kind of record a YouTube series about it, but basically the concept would be drug discovery from scratch, and it would teach its listeners the way to basically from scratch how to discover drugs and assay development and things like that. A real pro-pharmaceutical professional's perspective, and it sort of would traverse chemistry, biology, and biochemistry and research the way a pharmaceutical company would do it. So if there's a lot of interest in that, email me, and I think I'd be very happy to sort of show you the way you could create a drug from scratch and patent a drug from scratch. I even thought what would be fun is over the course of the course that we actually would create a medicine ourselves and patent it ourselves, and that would be kind of fun to do.